Hey guys, how you doing? Wanted to make this video today real quick. This is for people that still think that this pandemic is real, who are still on the fence and in denial and still think, everything going around right now in their lives is organic, it's anything but. So this is off USA Today. It's entitled Fact Check, UN Agenda 21 2030, New World Order is not a real document. And basically what they're saying is, the Agenda 21 and 2030 mission goals are not being used as a vehicle to achieve the New World Order. They believe that if you believe the New World Order, you're crazy, basically. Is a New World Order part of the UN's plan? There is evidence that the claim is circulated on social media for years, but a May repost by Facebook user Vernon Atkinson recently went viral. Over 20 goals comprise the, quote, New World Order the United Nations will focus on as part of its Agenda 21-2030 mission goals, according to the claim. Items on the agenda include one world government, a single cashless currency, government-owned and controlled schools, colleges and universities, and an end to single-family homes. Now, we can just pick apart two of these right here, right away. One world government, that is a goal by the United Nations, or the people who created it, I should say. And to support that, here we go. Here's James Warburg right off Wikipedia, about as mainstream as a source as you can get. James Paul Warburg was a German-born American banker. He was well known for being the financial advisor to FDR. His father was the banker Paul Warburg, member of the Warburg family, and father, in quotes, of the Federal Reserve System. Now here's a quote that he gained some attention for when he said it in February 17th of 1950 in front of the U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. He said, "We shall have world government, whether or not we like it. The question is only whether world government will be achieved by consent or by conquest." Now, according to USA Today, if you believe in a one world government being formed, and you believe that, Agenda 21 and 2030 and COVID-19 are being used as a vehicle to do it, you're crazy. But yet we know it's on record that they want a new world order, one world government, and they admit it themselves. Here he is saying it right here in his own words. Now, we can pull another one of these apart, saying, a single cashless currency. If you believe that or that it's coming, you're also equally as crazy. Well, here's an article from Bitcoin.com. It's called U.S. Federal Reserve. Hey, those guys again. Actively working on digital dollar. I've already covered this, but hey. The president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, Loretta J. Mester, outlined the Fed's work on the country's central bank digital currency during a speech at the 20th anniversary Chicago Payment Symposium on Wednesday, noting that the experience with emergency payments led by the coronavirus pandemic has accelerated the work in this area. Legislation has proposed that each American has an account at the Fed in which digital dollars would be deposited as liabilities of the Federal Reserve banks, which could be used for emergency payments. She added that other proposals would create a new payments instrument, digital cash, which would be just like the physical currency issued by central banks today, but in a digital form and potentially without the anonymity of physical currency, because they want to track everything you do. She said that some of the designs of the digital dollar allow the central bank to directly issue the CBDC into end users' wallets using central bank facilitated transfer and redemption services without the involvement of commercial banks. She further confirmed that the Federal Reserve has been researching issues raised by central bank digital currency for some time, emphasizing that various Federal Reserve banks are part of initiatives to explore the use of a central bank digital currency. So they already want to do it, they're already working on it, and they probably already have it developed. So they do want a world government, and they are working on a cashless digital currency, which will be a one world currency. At first, it'll probably be multiple digital currencies, and they'll merge it into one, but that's the goal. Here's another thing, too. They talk about an end to all rights and property. So it says, however, there are brief mentions of some of the items from the claim. The term central banking is present in reference to capacity building in developing countries. It is not described as a world central bank. Property rights are also addressed regarding protecting women's rights to property, but not an end to all privately owned property. Well, what about this little video from the World Economic Forum, which I've already covered, right? 8 predictions for the world in 2030. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. But not an end to all privately owned property. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. 8 predictions for the world in 2030. But not an end to all privately owned property. Do you see how on its face it is? They go ahead and tell you what they're going to do, and then when you recognize what they're saying, they call you crazy. You get how that works now? All right. Is the United Nations planning to institute a New World Order by 2030? There is no evidence that the UN will establish one world government, along with associated implications, such as a single military and currency. There is no evidence. That is an incredibly bold claim, which I can easily disprove. Daniela Gross, a spokesperson for the UN Secretary General, told USA Today in an email that the claim is entirely fabricated. Of course. No, this is false. This is not a genuine UN document, Gross wrote. Gross is more appropriate. So the UN is not planning to institute a New World Order by 2030. Okay. So what about this quote right here from Mr. President George H.W. Bush?
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Sounds an awful lot like the UN's trying to form a new world order, doesn't it? Apologize for the dramatic music in the background. but yeah, if you believe that, apparently you're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, also we could come out and we can listen to what Justin Trudeau had to say recently. Have you seen this video?
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda, Sustainable Development, and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, climate change.
Interesting, huh? So it's interesting that Justin Trudeau should say that, because if you watch my Canada Leaker video, I get into how they said they were going to implement a great reset, and they were going to basically call it the World Debt Reset Program. And in order to accept the debt forgiveness, you had to basically give up your sovereignty to participate. And it says this is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF under what will be known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual would forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. The individual would also have to agree to participate in the COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which would provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living even under a full lockdown through the use of photo identification referred to as Canada's Health Pass. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario, and what would happen to lenders or financial institutions. We were simply told that the World Debt Reset Program would handle all of the details. Several committee members also questioned what would happen to individuals if they refused to participate in the World Debt Reset Program, or the Health Pass, or the vaccination schedule. And the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told that it was our duty to make sure that we came up with a plan to ensure that would never happen. We were also told it was in the individual's best interest to participate. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. So every time you see a fact check, and you see those two little words right here, you can usually go ahead and toss everything they have to say out the window. It will be the polar opposite of the truth. I can keep going and going and going, but I'm not going to make this video any longer than it already is.